Well, recently I had a problem with one of my pocket watches. I couldn't set the time correctly. When I pulled the lever out to set the time, sometimes I could set the time, sometimes it wouldn't. And I thought it was a loose cannon pinion, but once I pulled the dial off, I saw there was another problem. Well, what I found out was the clutch wheel wasn't making good contact with the intermediate setting wheel. The clutch wheel wasn't being pushed down far enough to engage in the setting wheel. The setting lever spring wasn't pushing the clutch wheel down far enough. So I was wondering what could be causing that. If you push it down, you could see there's a small gap in between the setting lever and the setting lever spring. So I had to disassemble this and find out what was going on. So let's remove our setting lever. By the way, this is a Hamilton Model 1 grade 996 pocket watch. The Model 2 has a different setting setup than this one does. We're going to remove our setting lever spring. I always use a piece of pegwood to keep the spring from flying away as I'm trying to remove it. So as we take a closer look at the spring, we can see a little indentation where the lever was rubbing against that spring, and over time that lever has worn a groove out and it's caused the spring not to be pushed all the way down. You can really see that there. So now we're going to take our staking tool set and we're going to try to work on that spring and stretch the spring enough where it'll make good contact with the setting lever. We're going to be using the 3/8 solid face stump to be pounding on. We don't want to be pounding on the die plate of our staking tool set and take a chance of damaging it. This stump is probably the largest stump we have in our set. And the next part we'll be using is called a peen punch. Yeah, those are the two parts that we'll be using with our staking tool set. And the next thing, we need to go ahead and set up our set and get everything lined up. And we'll be using this 3-ounce brass hammer to tap on our punch. We set that spring on our stump and take our peen punch and come in contact with it and find the part that we need to stretch on the spring. And what we're going to do is lightly tap that punch, and it's going to push that metal outwards that we need to enlarge. And every time that we hit down on that punch, it's pushing out the metal on that spring. It might take several times of doing this to get it moved out far enough that you will have success. Well, I can see one thing: I need to demagnetize my punch. I'm having a hard time with that spring sticking to it. Well, I believe I've done the job that I need to do. The next thing to do is to inspect it and see if I can see it. You see a little close up, I can see where it looks like it's moved it out some. It's hard to tell visually. The only way to really know is to put it back in the watch and check it all out. Well, if you like these type of videos, subscribe to my channel and also hit that like button. And also go to my home channel page. The videos are organized into topics and subjects you might be interested in. Also, if you have any comments, leave them down below, maybe on what you have done different about this situation, or if you have any different ideas on what to do, or maybe even what caused this. I believe it was probably caused by lack of lubrication on that setting lever, causing friction, and it wore it out over time. Well, we'll soon find out if everything worked out right. Let's put this setting spring back in. Next, we'll put our setting lever in. Get everything good and lined up. It's always fun doing this and not having the spring shoot away or the little screws go flying off somewhere. I guess I could have just outsourced a new spring from somewhere, but where's the challenge in that? And also, the replacement spring could have had the same problem that this one had, a worn spot in it. Well, we've got it all back together, and now we're going to try it out and see if everything works good. Looks like it's setting good. The clutch wheel is setting down in the intermediate setting wheel. Yeah, everything seems to be in good working order. All the wheels, the setting mechanism is all working just like it should. Well, here's the watch all put back together. It's a nice Hamilton watch, railroad grade. Setting works. Everything's turning good. No problems. Watch is ready to be worn.